Hello there, fellow humans. Tonight we're diving into the delightful world of poverty. Just kidding. It's about as delightful as a root canal performed by a mime, excruciatingly painful and impossible to ignore. We're talking about the psychological consequences of poverty, how being broke can really mess with your mind. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, talking about poverty on a comedy show? Where's the fun in that? Well, dear viewers, humor is often found in the darkest of places, like that one sock that disappears in the dryer. We're going to shine a light on this serious issue because sometimes laughter is the only way to keep from crying into our ramen noodles. So buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to embark on a hilarious yet heartbreaking journey into the minds of those living in poverty. Get ready to laugh, to think, and maybe even to donate to your local food bank. Because remember, folks, empathy is free, unlike that avocado toast you've been eyeing. First stop on our poverty tour, Stress City. Population anyone who's ever had to choose between paying rent and buying groceries. Living in poverty is like running a marathon with a backpack full of bricks. Every single day. The constant worry about money, bills, and putting food on the table can send your stress levels soaring higher than a Wall Street banker's bonus. It's enough to make you want to scream into a pillow or, join a drumming circle. Whatever helps you cope, right? But here's the kicker. Chronic stress isn't just bad for your mood, it's bad for your health too. We're talking heart problems, weakened immune systems, and a higher risk of developing chronic diseases. Poverty, it's not just bad for your wallet, it's bad for your entire body. Stay tuned. Next up, we're tackling the elephant in the room, mental health. Or, should I say, the lack thereof when it comes to poverty. Look, it's no secret that poverty and mental health issues often go hand in hand. It's a classic chicken or the egg scenario, except in this case, the chicken is crippling debt and the egg is a giant, anxiety-ridden omelet. People living in poverty are at a higher risk for depression, anxiety, PTSD, and a whole host of other mental health conditions. It's like life decided to play a cruel joke. Oh, you're struggling to make ends meet? Here's some crippling anxiety and a side of despair. The worst part? Accessing mental health services is often a luxury that many low-income individuals simply can't afford. It's like being lost in the desert and being told the only water fountain costs $100 a sip. Section 4. Kids these days, the brain drain of poverty. Alright folks, let's talk about the kids. No, I'm not talking about those adorable little rugrats who make you go awe in public. I'm talking about the devastating impact poverty can have on their developing brains. Growing up in poverty is like trying to build a Lego castle with only half the bricks. You might be able to cobble something together, but it's not going to be pretty. Poverty can significantly impact a child's cognitive development, affecting their language skills, memory, and attention span. Imagine trying to learn algebra when you're worried about where your next meal is coming from. Spoiler alert, it's not easy. Children living in poverty are more likely to struggle in school, drop out, and face limited opportunities later in life. It's a vicious cycle that's tough to break, but hey, at least they'll be great at solving real-world problems like how to stretch a dollar further than a yoga instructor on payday. Section 5, feeling good, not on this budget. Now let's talk about feelings, because apparently, that's a thing people do. When you're constantly bombarded with financial stress, it's no surprise that your emotional well-being takes a nosedive. Imagine your self-esteem as a delicate flower. Poverty comes along with a giant watering can full of shame, doubt, and hopelessness, and drowns the poor thing. People living in poverty often struggle with low self-esteem, social isolation, and a general sense of hopelessness. It's tough to feel good about yourself when you're constantly reminded of your financial struggles. It's like being stuck in a never-ending game of whose life is more messed up, and you're always losing. But hey, at least you're not alone, right? Misery loves company, and poverty seems to be the ultimate wingman. Section 6. Breaking the cycle. Because laughter isn't always the best medicine. So, we've laughed, we've cried, we've questioned the existence of a just and fair society. Now what? Well, dear viewers, it's time to roll up our sleeves and do something about it. Breaking the cycle of poverty isn't easy, but it's not impossible. It requires a multifaceted approach that addresses the root causes of poverty, from lack of affordable housing to inadequate access to education and healthcare. We need to invest in early childhood education, create more job training programs, and expand access to affordable mental health care. We need to challenge systemic inequalities and create a society where everyone has an equal opportunity to thrive. And most importantly, we need to listen to the voices of those living in poverty and amplify their stories. Because let's be honest, they're the real experts on this topic. So the next time you see a homeless person on the street, don't just avert your gaze. Offer them a smile, a kind word, or even $1. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, and nobody deserves to have their mind held hostage by poverty.